like you're doing a lot of activity in sales and you keep on running into roadblocks and you just don't know an extra step that you can take to get to the decision makers and pass through to get attention and brand awareness and actually have a conversation with somebody. What's the next step that you can do? First, let's look at what you're actually doing now. I had a guy reach out to me last week and he was saying that he's doing a lot of activities in sales, manufacturing sales, and he feels like he's doing the right thing and he keeps on pushing, but he was just looking for a couple of ways to improve on actually having conversations with OEMs and buyers and people in purchasing. So the first thing I said to him is, what is it that you're doing right now? So let's look at that. First question was, is he doing? Look, man, cold calls suck. People don't like doing them. I don't like doing them, but they are effective at times. Number 2, email marketing. Everybody does that. Everybody sends out emails, but do you send one or do you keep on following up? Third thing, and probably way more effective than the other first 2, LinkedIn connection requests. Are you sending out connection requests to your influencers and decision makers in the target demographic that you're serving? The first step is to connect with them, but then following up with information. His answer to all 3 of those was yes. So if you're doing all that, what are you going to do next? What else can you do to actually have conversations with those OEMs, to get into their RFQ process, to consider being able to even pitch them your business? Because if you're already hitting them up on these 3 main tactics and it's not working, then how do you drive through that? So without getting into the details of his cold calling process and what his script is or his pitch is, or when he does leave voicemails, how does he leave them, and getting into all those details, which honestly, can they be improved on? Yes, but I don't want to get into that much depth with it. So he's doing cold calls, he's doing the email marketing thing. I'm not going to sit there and analyze it for the sake of the conversation, quick conversation with them. But the third thing though, LinkedIn connection requests, there was a slight adjustment that needed to be made there. A common mistake people make once you get a LinkedIn connection that's in your target demographic and you think that they would possibly have some interest in buying from you is people instantly say, we're connected. Now they go in and dive into it and say, here's who I am, here's what we're about, here's my line card, do you want to buy from me? I mean, you got to think LinkedIn, like, you got to build a relationship. I don't think necessarily there's some people out there that say that you have to do it over a long period of time, but think of it like this. Once you connect with them, you're now in their feed. At whatever level of information that you post, you're now in their feed. So you need to look at it more like a brand awareness type of campaign instead of a direct selling campaign. You want to let them know that you're in the room. Like, you go to a party and you see a pretty guy or a pretty girl or and you want to go up there and engage with them. There's a tactic to being seen in the space, but not necessarily directly going after them. In today's, in 2018, people are doing things on their time. They don't want to be aggressively sold to. Everything's on their own time. Everything's based on convenience. So once you get that connection request, don't dive in and get anxious to go and get them to engage with you. Give it time and relax for a minute and just focus on pushing out content for your brand and your company's brand, and just they'll see you through their feed and they'll start to, if the information is relevant, then they'll start to wonder, what is it that you actually do? If they didn't already look at your profile when they accepted a connection request from you, but they're going to start to say, this is cool stuff, and this guy's talking about things that are valuable to me. So what is it that he does? And they'll look into you first. All right, so now that we've got that down and we know what type of content you want to, or what approach you want to take once you do get somebody to connect with you, the next thing you want to do is then figure out what type of content are you going to share with them. So the first place that I looked was at the company website and the company LinkedIn page, and that's where the issue that I saw was that company website wasn't that good. It just was pretty bad. It didn't have a ton of brand awareness or a ton of call to actions. The content wasn't good. It looks like it hasn't been updated in a while. And so he's not going to be able to change that. He's not going to be able to have a big influence on that. They've talked about it internally, and they don't want to spend money on doing it. So looking at the company page, they don't really have much content that they're producing on there either. So the only thing that you could do is produce your own content and just act like a company and just share things that are relevant. Talk about your business frequently, because you need to show up in that person's feed as much as possible, because not everyone logs into LinkedIn every single day. They log in when it's convenient for them. So sometimes it's once a week, sometimes it's, once a day. It all depends on who it is and what their buyer persona is. So that's the way to do it. So if you work for a company where you don't have influence or are not the decision maker on the brand of the business, or you've talked about it and people just aren't budging, you have to look at your own personal brand as important as the corporate brand of the company that you work for. Just because your company isn't willing to do a LinkedIn company page and produce content on a regular basis for you to share and like and get out there, that doesn't mean that you can just use that as an excuse. You have to do something yourself. You have to look at your personal brand as an expert in your space, and reaching out to people and getting in their news feed. That's the only way to do it. So it's brand awareness first, less direct selling, direct hunting, and being aggressive on somebody once you connect with them. Think of it from the standpoint of brand awareness. It is a little bit lengthier of a time, but the faster that you start, the sooner you'll start to see results. And sometimes it'll shock you. You may connect with somebody, they may like a piece of content that you produced, and then you get engagement, you got an RFQ or a meeting or a phone call or whatever it is. So focus on your personal brand and drive as much awareness to your company as you can by doing it all on your own. So that's the biggest tip for today. So I hope you guys found value in that. As always, please like, share, comment, subscribe to the YouTube. A lot of content coming out, and just want to keep producing for you guys and bring as much value as possible. Thanks.